Hello and welcome back. My name is Meet, and in this video we are going to be creating Angular components for our application.
Hey guys, this is the app we are building our free currency converter application, and I have put this link in the description so that you can check this application out. So in this video we'll try to build our home page. So let's get started. We'll open up our CMD and we'll navigate to our project directory and we'll open up our project in Visual Studio Code. Okay, so here is our project since last video. Now let's check out the project structure. So as you can see, in the source folder is where most of the code lives, and inside this we have one index.html file. So this is the main file which is rendered in our browser, and as you can see, inside the body tag we have a app root tag, which actually points to the root component of our application, which is our app component. Now if you go into the app component.ts file, you can see the selector is app root. So when we call the app root tag over here, what it does is at the runtime this gets replaced by content of our component file. So the template for our app root is pointing to the app.component.html, which has this text hello world, and that's what we see on our browser. So let's again serve our application. For that we'll open up another command prompt window, use start cmd to open a command prompt in the current directory, and then to serve our application we'll type ng serve -open. Okay, so this is our application, and we have written our code in the default component, which is the app component. So now let's create our own component. So if we take a look at the application, we need to have an app bar, a home page, and footer. Now you can create components using the Angular CLI by typing in the following command, which is ng generate component followed by the path where you want to create the component. So let's call it app bar. So the Angular CLI has created 4 files for us, and it has put these 4 files in the source app bar directory, which are HTML file, TS file, CSS file, and a spec file. The spec file is mainly used for testing. We can see it in our Visual Studio Code. So here inside the app we have our app bar component, which has these 4 files. Now spec file is mainly used for testing. We are not dealing with testing in this course, so you can actually go ahead and delete this file. Okay, so we have a CSS file, an HTML file, and a component file. Now by default in the HTML file there is a paragraph which says app bar works, but we don't see it on our browser because we haven't used that selector to embed that into our view. So let's just do that. So if you go to the component file, you can see the selector is app-bar. So let's go into our app component HTML and let's call that tag over here and go ahead and save this file. So now you can see bar component is displayed. Okay, so let's go ahead and create 2 other components that we need, which are footer and the home. Now you can use the shorthand for creating components, which is ng space g for generate and c for component, followed by the component name. So let's create a footer component and let's pass in a skip tests option to skip creating the spec file. So we have only 3 files inside source, app, footer. Let's also create our home component. So the order that we want our components to be displayed is the app component should be at the top, the app bar should be at the top, the home component and the footer at the bottom. So let's also bring in the other 2 components. So you can check out the selectors by going into the component.ts file. So for footer it is app footer. And the home component goes between these 2. Let's save this and let's see the results in the browser. So this is working as expected. We have our app bar at the top, home component and the footer. Now let's build these components individually. So let's first take a look at our app bar. We want our app bar to look like this. And for styling this application, we are going to be using Bootstrap. So we need to install our dependencies via npm. Let's go to the command line, and the command to install the dependencies is npm install followed by the package name. Now for Bootstrap, we need to install jQuery and popper.js as well. So we'll type in the command npm install jQuery space popper.js space bootstrap. So this will install our 3 packages, and we'll also pass in an -- save option, which will save our dependencies to the package.json file. So the packages are installed. We can see our packages inside the node modules folder. So here we have our Bootstrap. Now to use Bootstrap, we need to import this into our angular.json file. So open up angular.json, and inside the architecture, inside the styles, we can import our style sheets, and inside the scripts, we can import our scripts. So let's import our Bootstrap file, which is in /node modules /bootstrap /dist /css /bootstrap.min.css and save this. And also, whenever you make changes to the angular.json file, we need to rerun our application. So we'll go to the command prompt and kill the application by pressing Ctrl+C, and again we'll open our application by typing ng-serve. So we have installed Bootstrap, and now let's check out how we can use it in our project. So go to getbootstrap.com and you can go to the documentation and check out the components that they have. Basically, Bootstrap is a collection of CSS classes that we can use to style our application. So for example, let's check out the buttons. So to create a button that looks like this, we need to add the following classes, which are provided by Bootstrap. So to use this button, generally what we do is we copy it from here and paste it into our projects. Now Bootstrap also has many useful example projects that we can use as the starter templates, and I particularly like this pricing one. So let's just open up. Now you can see this has a very nice app bar. What you can do is you can right click and go to view page source, and you can find the app bar inside the body. The first div is our app bar. As you can see, they have links and the company name title over here. So I'll copy it from here, and we can go ahead and paste this in our app bar component.html file. You can use Alt+Shift+F to reformat your code. And let's save this and let's see the results. So our app bar is now replaced with this. That's how easy it is to get started with Bootstrap. Now we need to customize this a bit. For example, we need to change our header over here and also the links, and we need to get rid of the sign up button. So let's do that. If you look into the code, this anchor tag is the sign up button. So we don't need it, we can go ahead and delete it. And inside this nav div, we have 4 links, we only need 3. So we'll go ahead and delete one from here and change the titles to convert currency, rates, and about. And we can go ahead and change the company name to currency converter. Let's save this, and there it is, our app bar. Now the next thing is to style this. For example, add the background colors and change this text to white. So to do that, let's get rid of this bg white and instead add our custom class called app bar, and we'll add a class called text white to change this header text to white. Also, here in the anchor tags we have a class called text dark. We need to change this to white as well. Now whenever you have the same changes to be made in multiple places, we can use a useful feature of the Visual Studio Code. That is, you can go ahead and select the portion that you want to match, and you can go to the selection and click on add next occurrence, or also use the shortcut Ctrl D. Now what this will do is it will find the selection and it will add an extra cursor over there, so it's like having multiple cursors. Then you can go ahead and edit all those selections simultaneously like this and save. So let's check out in the browser. So everything is white, our text is still there, but since the background is white we can't see it. So let's change the background color next. So to add styling to this class, let's open up our CSS file and I'll copy paste some code and we'll go through this. So I've added a class called app bar and I've changed the background color, and to get rid of the underlines over the anchor tags, I've added a property inside nav to the anchor tags text decoration none, and also on hover we need a bottom border of 3 pixels which is solid and white in color. So let's save this file and take a look. There it is. We have our app bar. Move on to our footer, which we'll also copy from this page. So let's go to the view source and let's copy this footer element over here and paste it in our footer component.html file. Now these classes, for example pt4, my, md5, these are all Bootstrap styling classes. So P stands for padding and T stands for top, and you can have a padding top from 1 to 5. Similarly, M is for margins and Y means top and bottom. So T stands for top, B stands for bottom, Y is top and bottom. Similarly, we have R for right, L for left, and X for horizontal directions. So here we have 3 columns, but we need only 2. So let's get rid of this last column here, and in the first column let's change this to useful links, and this one EI source, and we only need 1 link here and we need 3 links here. So let's get rid of extra ones. So let's check out this small class over here and let's add an h3, and we'll add our title and give it a class of margin bottom 3 and text muted, which will change the color of our text. And we can change this links as well. We can have convert currency, rates, and about over here, and this will replace by our API URL. So we can see our footer. Now this stretches from end to end. To give it some padding, we can put this footer inside a div with a class of container. So to create a div with some class, you can actually type in dot followed by the class name and hit enter, and Visual Studio will create a div tag for us with the class name specified. And let's just copy our footer and actually cut it and paste it inside our container. Use Alt Shift S F to reformat and Ctrl S to save it. So now it looks a little better. I will also add our image here and the API source to this later. This video is stretching too long, so let's continue working on our home component in the next video. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel and share this video, and please let me know any suggestions or questions you have in the comment box below. Keep watching and I'll see you in the next video.